Hi guys, okay, so we're going to be working in the 4th grade workbook. We're going to start with lesson 2 today, and we are going to be, well, lesson 2 starts on page 14, but I'm going to start my read aloud on page 18 in your workbook, okay? So turn to page 18, make sure that you follow along while I read, okay? Don't just listen, and we're going to read these poems, okay? Here we go. Escape at Bedtime by Robert Louis Stevenson. The lights from the parlor and kitchen shone out, through the blinds and the windows and bars, and high overhead and all moving about, there were thousands of millions of stars. There never was such thousands of leaves on a tree, nor of people in church or the park, as the crowds of the stars that looked down upon me, and that glittered and winked in the dark. The dog and the plow, and the hunter and all, and the star of the sailor and Mars, these shone in the sky, and the pail by the wall would be half full of water and stars. They saw me at last, and they chased me with cries, and they soon had me packed into bed. But the glory kept shining and bright in my eyes, in the stars going round in my head. That's the end of our poem. Underneath the poem, it shows us number 1 and number 2. Those are 2 of the words that we use, and it tells us what those words mean. So the first word is ne'er, which is short or never. Okay. Number 2 is plow, the British spelling of plow, also the British name for the constellation called the Big Dipper in the United States. So that's what that is. Okay, we're going to move on to the questions on page 19. Question number 1. The poem mentions the dog, the hunter, and Mars in the night sky. These names relate to characters in Greek and Roman myths. Based on this information, what is the best conclusion you can draw? So what do you think? Does this tell us A, the dog, the hunter, and Mars are constellations? B, the Greeks and Romans saw the same objects in the sky? C, many planets and constellations got their names from characters in myths? Or D, the words dog, hunter, and Mars are from the Greek and Roman languages? Remember, just try your best, okay? We're going to be able to review these things when you guys get back, okay? Number 2, read this line from the poem. They saw me at last, and they chased me with cries. Explain what this line reveals about the speaker of the poem. So what does this tell us? How are they feeling? What's happening? Right? They saw me at last, and they chased me with cries. How would that make you feel? Flip your page. Page 20, question number 3. Which of the following is true about the first stanza, so the first chunk? Choose all of them that apply. So lines 1 and 3 rhyme, lines 2 and 4 rhyme. B, all the lines have the same number of syllables. C, the first stanza has 8 lines, so in the first chunk, how many lines are there? D, lines 1 and 2 rhyme, lines 3 and 4 rhyme. E, lines 2 and 4 and 6 have the same number stressed syllables. F, the first stanza has 5 lines. Now again, remember, I know that some of these questions might be difficult, okay? Make sure you watch Miss Brown's video as well on this lesson, and just try your best, okay? Question number 4. The following question has 2 parts. First, answer part A, then answer part B. Part A, read the lines from the poem in the question that follows. As the crowds of the stars that looked down upon me, and that glittered and winked in the dark. What kind of figurative language is this? So, is this A, an allusion, B, a metaphor, C, personification, or D, a simile? Try your best. What do those words mean? Part B. Which choice explains your answer to part A? A. The speaker says the stars are like people, dressed in glittery party clothes. B. The stars do not just look like crowds of people, they are crowds of people. C. The stars look down and wink at the speaker. This makes them seem human. Or D. The poet uses the phrase, look down upon me, to allude to Greek gods and goddesses. Okay, great. Moving on to page 22. Our next piece of poetry. Get ready to follow along. This is a long one. The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt. Will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I have many curious things to show you when you're there. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, to ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can ne'er be the same. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I've heard it said, they never, never wake again who sleep upon your bed. Said the cunning spider to the fly, dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm effect I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice? Oh, no, no, said the little fly, kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see. Sweet creature, said the spider, you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf. If you'll step into one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself. I thank you, gentle sir, she said, for what you're pleased to say, and bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day. The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again, and merrily did sing, come hither, hither, pretty fly, with the pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead. Alas, alas, how very soon the silly little fly, hearing his willy flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes, her green and purple hue. Turn the page. Thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing at last. Up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you ne'er give heed. Unto an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. Okay, that is the end of our poem, and we're going to move on to the questions on page 25. Like I said, these questions are kind of hard, so you're going to have to just try your best, but I want you to focus and really listen to what they're asking, okay? Question number 1, part A. In the poem, the spider calls his web a winding stair. What kind of figurative language is this? Is it A, a simile, B, a metaphor, C, an allusion, or D, personification? Part B. Which choice explains your answer to part A? A. The spider says its web is like a winding stair because the fly can climb up the web to the spider's parlor. B. The poet says the spider's web is a winding stair, even though she is just comparing its web to a winding stair. C. The poet is alluding to one song about a stairway to heaven and another song about a stairway to the stars. D. In the poem, both the spider and the fly have human qualities. The spider is evil and the fly is conceited. Question number 2. The following question has 2 parts. Part A. Read the lines from the poem and the question that follows. Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you?" Which of the following is the best definition for affection, so as it's used in these sentences? Does affection mean love? Does affection mean scorn? Does it mean hunger? Or does it mean laughter? Which one? Part B. Okay, I want you to skip part B. Okay? Don't answer. Question number 3. What kind of poem is The Spider and the Fly? A. A lyric poem. B. A narrative poem. C. A limerick. Or D. Free verse. So if you look over here, I have them written out. Question number 4. This is going to be the last question. Okay? Last question I want you to answer for this poem. Part A. Which sentence best sums up the theme of this poem? A. Spiders can be very dangerous creatures. B. Being too vain can make others dislike you. Vain means you only think about yourself. C. By flattering others you can trick them. Or D. It can be dangerous to listen to others' flattery. B. Part B. Which lines from the poem best support your answer to part A? A. So, he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, and set his table ready to dive upon the fly. B. Alas, alas, how very soon the silly little fly, hearing this willy flattering words, came slowly flitting by. Or C. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. D. Unto an evil counselor close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly. Okay, like I said, that's the last question that I want you to answer for lesson 2. Okay? 5 and 6 you don't have to answer unless you have help at home, and you want to do that, but you don't have to, okay? Alright, see you soon.